Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case you don't, I'm a 25-year-old piece of gold, the messiah of the microphone, and the greatest sports recreational podcast around the world today, a former Bulletcast champion. I never do it alone. He's my tag team partner, the Jim of my J, the totem Arn, the Stevie Ray to my Booker T. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the host of the award-winning Under the Radar, host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, the first ever and current 13-time Bulletcast champion, the Canadian Destroyer, BT, Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, it's Thursday. You know what that means.
It's another edition of the Bulletcast. Philip, I'm doing just fantastic. Hold on to that Bulletcast title. We're going into a defense this weekend. Happy Memorial Day to everyone who has served, past, present, future. Memorial Day, Monday. Going to be still holding that title.
We shall see. I'm coming for you. Cindy's coming for you. I believe Baby Huey's coming for you as well. I don't know. We'll have to find it out.
Bring all the smoke.
You
It
want
don't
it
matter.
all.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. It don't. All right, guys, before we do it, HD for life. Socials, hd.4.life on Instagram and Twitter, HD for life on teesprings.com. Designs, Get Her Done 1 and 2, Hurry Up 1 and 2, Mr. Sapo 1 and 2, Mr. H Dog, Mother's Love, King H Dog, H Dog Dash, Get It, Mr. Pimpin', HD for Life Americana, Common Sense, Soldier H Dog, Life Safety, HD for Life Safety, Lily's Love, HD for Life, Orange and Pink, Softball Life, Reunite Generations, Little Rena, Lil H Dog, Explode Show Quality 1, 2, and 3, Drinkware, Fanny Pack, Socks, Hoodies, T-shirts, Sweatpants, Tank Tops, Face Masks, Tote Bags, Mugs, Pillows, Beach Towels, Posters, Blankets, Phone Cases, Stickers, and so much more. HD for Life, teesprings.com. You need to get this graffiti artwork clothing line. It's more than a clothing line. It's just a brand. It's just a graffiti brand now.
It's a way of life.
It
For
is
life. Yeah, boom, I am.
I see.
I've been working for a marketing agency, so I'm just a great marketer. I was on a meeting the other day. Didn't want to, but, I just sat there and turned my camera off and half paid attention.
Oh, you're one of those?
Well, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to say anything, and so there's 4 people in the meeting. I saw one of them turn their camera off, and I knew I wasn't going to talk or say anything, so I was like, I'm just going to turn my camera off too. So there you go. I was
see.
like dead asleep. I was taking a nap at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, like an adult. And then I get a call. It's like, oh, can you come into this meeting at 2 o'clock? And I was like, I mean, I kind of had plans, but sure, why not? I'm a good little employee.
So you've officially got the job.
Well, apparently I had the job before I even knew I had the job, because the 2 weeks was over and it was the Friday, and I emailed the boss. I was like, oh, so are we going to talk about, the past 2 weeks and then, what our future holds for us? And then he called me back and he was like, oh, well, I thought I already told you I gave you the job. You're doing great work, kid. Well, he didn't say kid, but I'm trying to do my Vince McMahon impression. But so been grinding for the past month. Just love to see it.
My boy. Ooh. I might cry. I might cry over here.
Can't play video games anymore. My nights are all ruined.
You have the weekends though.
I mean, I pretty much just have Saturday. That's the only day. Friday night and Saturdays are my weekends, because I have to write stuff for Monday. And I'll be honest, I don't even know if I'm working Monday or not. They haven't told us.
Oh man, no. I hope you are, man. Hey, but it's so.
I am not, because if that means I'm not working Monday, means I can get absolutely wrecked. Which means more than likely you will get a drunk Brandon pay-per-view recap.
I'm all for it, man. It's gonna be great, man. But I've been doing some things, Brandon. I've uploaded some interviews, with Anthony Trevino, boss man / the promoter owner of UGWA, on Monday. That was a great one. It was different, man. If you guys watched the interview and got contact high, imagine how I felt. You know what I'm saying? All the smoke was there. Then Wednesday, I uploaded the interview with Juicy Finale, which that was a great conversation. The camera died in the middle of the interview, but I'm a constant professional. Just keep moving. A great man once told me, Chris Van Vliet, he once told me that audio was more important than video. Hence why we stopped doing video.
Amen. Because no one wants to see my ugly mug.
Hey, you're an attractive fellow.
Yeah, the beard's getting a little out of control right now.
I mean, some of the ladies are like, so where's the other guy that's usually with you? I'm like,
we all
Brandon.
know we know the other guy was just a sex god.
No, not him. They're talking about like, the guy that's usually with you. I'm like, Brandon, he'll be making a run in, man. West Coast Pro, the tickets have gone on sale. Brandon might pop up there.
Maybe we'll see how my schedule lines up.
Have you seen?
Gotta call your people.
Absolutely. Have you seen the interviews, Brandon?
Well, of course I've seen the interviews, Philip. You know, this is the great thing that you've been doing this past year, these past couple months. Now that the pandemic is kind of on its decline, so you've been going to a lot more wrestling shows, and you've been putting out the content. We took a little bit of a lull, at the end of 2020, and so now shows are back. You're putting in the grind. Great stuff. People tell us all the time people outside of the Bay Area don't know really any of these people. Hell, I'm in the Bay Area. I don't really know these people. And so getting to listen to them and hear their stories, it's always a fantastic listen.
Absolutely. And the juicy one, that guy's going to be a star. I'm excited for that. Also, I'm uploading another interview on Friday with West Coast Design. That was a great conversation we had, just catching up, about the championships that he's been making, because dude's been killing it, man. He's been killing it. It's awesome. I love what he's doing. So look forward to that on Friday. But we got some big news. A lot of news has been breaking the last couple of days, and since last week, since we've last spoken. So here we go. Crowds are going to return to WWE. Live crowds are going to return to World Wrestling Entertainment for it was originally a 25-city tour, but they've announced more dates. Brandon, do you have the article?
Of course I have the article, Philip.
I know
I know you didn't tell me ahead of time, but we're on just such a connection that I knew you wanted me to pull something up right before the podcast. And so, of course, I have the article. That's probably from like a week ago. So if I here we go. Got it. WWE reveals next 3 dates on their summer tour. They are going to go on July 23rd. They're going to have a SmackDown take place at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. Cleveland, stand up, OH. IO, thank you very much, Philip. Then they're going to be going to the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri on Monday, July 26th for an episode of Raw. Then Friday, July 30th, an episode of SmackDown. They will be at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So they are putting in the work. We're getting a lot of television shows back, and crowds are back. AEW beat them to the punch with the announcement, but around the same time, I believe crowds will be back. And as we kind of expected, a lot of Texas, a lot of, the more open states. But I mean, here in California, I believe June 15th, I believe we're going to be like pretty much open. I know the A's just announced that they're going to be having full capacities in the middle of June. So we're getting in the swing of things, Philip.
Yes, normal life is approaching. It is upon us, man. This is great, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. And the Dallas Fort Worth area holds a place in my heart. That's I did some time out in Dallas, man. I was associated with those streets for a little bit, to bit. Yeah, man. I'm excited. Once they come here, it's over. You know what I'm saying? I will be in attendance when WWE is in the Bay Area. You can believe that.
Believe that? Someone used to say that. And that was like their catchphrase.
Yeah. Now I hear that guy's the tribal chief now. So Brandon, what are your thoughts on live crowds returning to WWE?
Well, I've been kind of the one who's been hesitant for the returns of the crowds, but I think I'm kind of at that point now where me personally, I'm vaccinated. We got a lot more people who are vaccinated. And it's almost kind of like at the point to where if you haven't gotten it, you probably could have. And it's kind of like, you're on your own now, buddy. So we're getting back to normalcy. Unfortunately, I think over here in California, it's going to take some time for those companies to kind of mosey their way down over here, because I haven't exactly been paying attention to like the indoor venues on when those can be 100% capacity, if they can be. So, I mean, I'm excited. AEW has done a really good job at being able to, cultivate an atmosphere. They've had some fans in attendance recently. WWE, I mean, at first when the pandemic started and we were watching wrestling with literally like no fans, no people in the arena, it was really weird. And then I started to get used to it. And now it's almost going to be weird to have whatever 15,000 people in an arena on a weekly basis and the crowds. And on WWE's scape, I'm really intrigued to see what they do, just because I think they took some liberties with some stories and some angles that they probably would not be getting away with. Like literally everything with Alexa Bliss, that isn't going to fly in front of a live crowd. And so I'm excited to see what happens.
Thoughts and prayers going out to Alexa Bliss. Larry Steve, her beloved pet pig, passed away a couple of days ago. So I know she's been going through it. She did a little live or a little video on Instagram, and you can see just her eyes bloodshot red. She's been crying. She's been going through it. So prayers up to her, and R.I.P. Larry Steve. No, but yeah, this is actually perfect that we're talking about the fans coming back to WWE. So a fan mail, Dan, he wrote us, and he said, I heard this on Cheap Heat. What's the one thing that you would keep from the pandemic era of wrestling? SGG said he would keep the Thunderdome. Thoughts? And yeah. So I did hear that. So apparently Stat Guy Greg would keep the Thunderdome for weekly television. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as a cynic of WWE who hasn't been putting out a good product even before the pandemic started, they were not getting good crowds. Now, from these announcements, I believe for the most part, if not all the shows are kind of like, non-house shows, they're going to be like television and stuff like that. So they're almost kind of eliminated the house show market, which I think is something that we've kind of expected for a long time, especially with the kind of money they're getting for these television shows, that the wrestlers can not have to travel the roads all the time and still make just as much money. There'll still be international tours and things like that, but I don't think it's going to happen because WWE and like Fox was like the one pushing for the live crowd atmosphere. And that is really what I love most about wrestling. And honestly, like that's when I judge how great a match is how much the crowd reacted. And so it's been really tough for me to kind of gauge how good a match really is when they're wrestling in front of nobody.
I understand. Should they keep it for like 205 Live and main event?
I haven't been watching any of that stuff, but I would just assume like
that's really where
at the PC or sorry, at the CWC.
Look, people talk about NXT and dark elevation and all this. Hey man, main event's where it's at. Main event and 205 Live have been the best shows of the pandemic era. We just don't talk about them because I feel like I'm the only one that's watching.
There's some executives out there that are watching just to make sure that WWE actually produces it because they're paying them for it.
Yes, sir. All right, as we move on from that, a lot of news, some more releases, or another release, or there were more than like the social media department and whatnot. But the biggest one, Tom Phillips, after nearly 10 years with WWE, he has been released. This was a shock. I'm surprised. Brandon, how do you feel about Tom Phillips leaving WWE?
I don't know if I would say it's like a shock because he was replaced on Raw for Adnan Virk and he wasn't doing anything. He didn't go back to NXT. That's Vic Joseph's role. And honestly, like I kind of thought Tom Phillips was good in his role on Raw. He's kind of like a robot. He doesn't have too many emotions. He kind of has like one gear and that's...
Are you kidding me? Whenever Montez would hit that frog splash from the heavens... Come on, man.
I was just about to put him over.
Okay.
I got to bury him before, you bring him back up to life. But I did enjoy the banter that him, Corey, and Byron had. Like, you can tell that they've been together for a long time, like back in the NXT days coming up through there. So he definitely was better than Adnan Virk. And when it comes to like the cookie cutter, corporate announcers that they've kind of pumped out in the last 20 years since Michael Cole, honestly, Tom Phillips has probably been one of the better ones. And I really did enjoy him on NXT. I know that's kind of more Triple H's thing, so he's not going to be yelling and producing every single thing. And even Michael Cole was pretty good at NXT. So overall, it does kind of suck. I really wonder what he does because I don't follow him personally, so I don't know what his interests are, if he's a sports guy or if he might go somewhere else.
We know what his interests are.
I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up, but
he's gone from the company.
When nature calls, you can't do anything about it.
That's true. You hate to see it, ladies and gentlemen. You really do.
Especially when you're stuck on a plane, there's really nowhere to go.
Really nothing to do. Best of luck in all your future endeavors to Tom Phillips. Adnan Virk, he and WWE have mutually agreed to part ways. So for a little bit, that Raw commentary chair was open. I almost filled out an application, Brandon. I almost was like, you know what? I'll throw my name in the hat. Why not? Right?
You put in those GSW tapes. Be like, look what I can do.
Look what I can do. You know what I mean? You know, to call a battle royal where you really don't know the talent, and for it to sound that good. Come on. Honestly, I wouldn't want to do that job. I mean, I love Vince McMahon, but him in my ear, I'd be so nervous. I'd be like,
for 3 hours.
The time isn't the problem. It's just, I mean, it's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. When we talk about great creators, everybody goes Walt Disney and Stan Lee and Dr. Seuss and Bob Kane who invented Batman. Nah, Vince is he's at the top of the food chain. You know what I mean? Like that's just the aura that the guy puts off. You know what I mean? So I'd be nervous. I'd be nervous as all hell. But yeah, I mean, they got a replacement. They got Jimmy Smith. Was he a UFC MMA commentator? He's done some work in the combat sports realm.
I will be honest, I'm the MMA guy on the podcast. I've heard him, but I don't know what he would bring to the table. I mean, Adnan Virk comes from the sports MLB background, and I mean, even from the jump, it was not good. And for the most part, I don't listen to or pay attention to the commentary, and I could tell he was being carried so heavily by Corey Graves and Byron Saxton, and he really wasn't getting any better. And I don't know how this partnership came about, but it almost kind of felt like he's a pretty big name in the sports broadcasting sphere, and he kind of liked wrestling or had an interest in it, and so they brought him in, but yet he doesn't really know that much about wrestling. Like Pat McAfee, same time frame, but he's clear as day, way better, and has it down pat, no pun intended, compared to Adnan.
Yeah, man. I mean, he hosted a pre-show before a takeover with Sam Roberts. He sounded okay there, but honestly, that's not commentary. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see on Monday night if he can do the job.
Oh, he's the guy who does the NXT pre-shows.
He did it a couple times.
Okay, that's why he kind of looked familiar.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see.
I'll watch it. I watch the last 2 minutes. So by that point, I'm not even paying attention. To be honest,
rewatch a couple of the pre-shows, and you'll be able to get a feel out for what he might be doing on commentary.
I'll just listen to him for 3 hours, because I definitely watch all 3 hours of Raw, and I don't fast forward through any of the matches or the commercials.
Well, you shouldn't. You should watch the whole thing.
And then they're sitting there on my couch with my popcorn and my soda. I'm just enjoying life with my little with my souvenir
Pepper,
cup. Right? Yeah, or a Coke Zero if I'm trying to be a little healthier.
I mean, they have Diet Dr. Pepper. I mean, why don't you just drink that?
we do have Diet Dr. Pepper, but I mean, if I'm gonna have a Dr. Pepper, I'm with the real thing. So
I mean,
normally my rotation is Coke Zero mainly.
It's not that big of a difference.
It is that big of a difference.
Do you know they have the strawberry Dr. Pepper now? Do you know this is the thing now? Brandon, we're going to have to cheers over some strawberry Dr. Peppers.
I don't know. I know you're the Texas guy. Have you been over in the wherever the place is over in Dr. Pepper land? I need to go there. That's one of the things I would love to go.
I didn't know this is like a museum?
I need to look it up now. I want to say Plano, Texas, but I know it's not Plano, Texas. Where is all the Dr. Pepper stuff in Texas? Because that's their big thing.
Was it like Oak Cliff? Is it like Oak Cliff? Is it Dallas? Is it Fort Worth? Is it where are we? Where's it at? Do you know?
I believe it's in Waco.
Waco. I've been to Waco, Texas. I've been to Waco. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm familiar with the turf. Brandon, hey man, I got some. I got a cousin out that way, man. We can crash at her crib. We don't got to pay for a hotel or Airbnb player. If you want to make this happen one day, let me know. I'll set it up. All
right. I'll go out there, meet some of the family that I've never. Look at that. Dr. Pepper Snapple State. There is one in Plano. Now I need to get up and look at the Dr. Pepper can, because they're just giving me all these different freaking things.
All the different things.
I know Dr. Pepper is a very divisive subject. Let us know if you're Dr. Pepper, yes or no, because people, it's either you love it and it's top 2 soda, or you just absolutely despise it and think it tastes like prune juice.
You know who loves Diet Dr. Pepper? You won't believe it, Brandon. It's two wrestlers. Go ahead and take your pick.
Are we like main event level WWE wrestlers?
Yes. Both of them have been the world champion multiple times.
Diet Dr. Pepper people.
Go ahead, take your pick.
Well, we know CM Punk's the Pepsi guy. I don't think Daniel Bryan is a soda drinker. John Cena probably doesn't drink sodas. Big Show.
No, you have enough. You might be able to get one of them. One of them currently wrestles right now on Monday Night Raw.
Randy Orton, the big Dr. Pepper
No,
guy. Dang it.
The Undertaker and AJ Styles.
I mean, that makes sense. Two kind of Southern guys. Undertaker from Texas. I mean, come on.
You loved it. You love to see it. Some other things you don't love to see are Buff
What
Bagwell.
are we talking about? How did we get to Dr. Pepper?
I don't know. You started talking about it. Buff Bagwell's been arrested, ladies and gentlemen.
Because I sit down in my little comfy couch and with my Dr. Pepper and my popcorn. Okay, we got it.
I don't know if Buff Bagwell drinks Dr. Pepper, but he's been arrested for some things. This is not good for Buff the Stuff. I mean, he was a pretty famous wrestler. Then he becomes a gigolo. I'm a gigolo, spending lots of dough. And then I don't know if he even still does that. Now he's been arrested. What's going on with Buff the Stuff, man?
No clue. I mean, he was in the news because I think he was doing the gigolo stuff, and they're doing like a documentary on him. That's kind of the last time I heard of him, and so now he's kind of in the news for the wrong things. But hopefully he can get his life back on track, and hopefully everything works out for old Buff Bagwell.
A nice little recovery story. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
The man who ruined the invasion.
Pretty much, Buff Bagwell and Booker T, Monday Night Raw, that main event, bro. That it was all downhill from there.
We could still be having Monday Nitro or something, but no, just ruined it all.
Yeah. I mean, Vince was going to get rid of SmackDown and just have Raw and Nitro. That's what was going to happen, but no. The Velveteen Dream has spoken about his release from WWE and also the allegations of inappropriate conduct with minors. And I mean, the Dream, he put out a statement on his story. It's a lengthy one. Talked about how the Dream was a character. He did it to the best of his ability. Now the Dream is over. Then he talks about the two young men that accused him of inappropriate conduct, and the Dream put out some interesting stuff. How the one of the guys was asking him about training advice and how to get bigger and something. And the Dream sent him, I guess one of the photos of him shirtless was a physique pic. Like, well, you can see the progression from here to here, stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh man, you hate to see it, man.
So, I mean, obviously what the Dream is accused of is terrible, and he's denied the allegations, everything like that. But I mean, what he did, if there was anything that he did, is terrible. But also, from what I've heard, is there was also like heat behind the scenes of just like him as a person, where he kind of would rub the people the wrong way, maybe quote unquote living the gimmick a little too much and not asking for help or kind of being a little standoffish. And like as someone who's kind of an introvert myself, I can kind of see where he's coming from, but you also got to understand the business you're in. And sometimes if people are trying to help you out or you don't want to seek help because you don't want it, then you got to understand that that's probably not going to be, looked upon the greatest way. So it wasn't just the allegations is the reason he was released. There was some other things going on as well.
Yeah. I mean, he even popped up after the allegations. So we were like, oh, I guess Dream is going to kind of get back on the roll, but that's not to be. So I don't know what's going to happen to Patrick Clark. It's a shame. It is a shame. He was over. He was super over, man. It hurts my heart. It really does.
Whatever, like 3 years ago, we would talk and ask who is going to be the next person. And honestly, Velveteen Dream was in that conversation because he was taller, he was eccentric, he could wrestle for the most part, or we kind of expected him to get better in the ring. And it never happened.
Could you imagine the pop, full capacity crowd, like after WrestleMania 35? If that, ow! Woo! Velveteen Dream. If that had hit, the pop he would have got would have been massive. It's a shame, bro. It's a shame. Brandon, John Cena has apologized for calling Taiwan a country.
Yes, he did.
But it is a country.
Yes, Taiwan is a country.
So why would he go ahead and apologize if what he said was correct in the first place?
Because it's someone who's in Fast 9 and is trying to get inroads in China, and China has billions and billions of dollars at their disposal, and they don't recognize Taiwan as a country, even though it is a country, and they should free Hong Kong. And, when John Cena says the wrong thing and he looks around and says, oh, people are mad at me and I have an image to uphold, so I'm just going to, take my spine out of my back and I'm just going to say in Mandarin that, Taiwan is not a country. Or he didn't even say that. He just apologized for what he said, which then also rubbed the Chinese the wrong way because he didn't go as far, and he rubbed the other people the wrong way because he was being spineless. So he's in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And Cena speaks the language fluently. I'm sure he could have had a nice conversation with the people. Smut and Filth. This is what Dana Warrior has called the upcoming episode about her deceased husband, the Ultimate Warrior, for Dark Side of the Ring. It's kind of funny how I think they're going to premiere like the same week, the A&E doc and then the Dark Side of the Ring doc. Yeah. I mean, look, we like Brandon put me on to like the Warrior being a dark person. Like he was not a good person. Like
I ruined people's childhoods. I'm sorry.
I wasn't like a fan. You know what I mean? Like his run was before we were alive. You know what I mean? Like my introduction.
What are you talking about? That run in WCW, they were hanging from the rafters, brother.
Look, my introduction to the Warrior, I found like a clip of him wrestling Orlando Jordan on the internet. Then he comes back, gets inducted to the Hall of Fame, and dies. Like that's my whole experience with the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, like he was not a nice guy. I mean, he said a lot of racist stuff, a lot of bigotry stuff, and you can't just like oh no, that didn't happen. Like you can't do that. You know what I mean? I think that's the kind of angle his wife is going with. And then the guys from Dark Side of the Ring, they created this Smut and Filth T-shirt to sell on pro wrestling tees. The proceeds are going to be going to the LGBTQ community. So I was like, oh, all right, guys, that's some nice shade. What are your thoughts on Dana Warrior's comments?
It makes sense as someone who's married to Warrior. He or she would, is going to defend him. She is her husband. She is his widow. Yeah. So, I mean, for someone who, has a dark past, and who knows, maybe he did kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel and he kind of realized what he did was bad. But for the most part, he never voiced those concerns and those apologies and everything like that. So, maybe she knows a different Warrior. That's probably true. I mean, I forget what his actual real name. I mean, technically his real name is Warrior because he changed it, but
John Henning.
She knows the man behind the gimmick. And so maybe he's a little different person. And obviously she has a much deeper connection to him than any of us ever will. And so, I mean, I understand what she's coming from, but I also disagree.
Yeah, man. I mean, people can change. I mean, look at Sean. Look at HBK. Probably the biggest change of all time. So I'm sure he did change or whatever, but he never because it was public knowledge back then. He just never came out and said, "Hey, I'm sorry."
I mean, he said these things at talking engagements.
Yeah, he never came out and just said, "I'm sorry for the things I said." Like that never happened, and it should have. It's a shame. All right, inside of the ring, SummerSlam to be on a Saturday, August 21st. Apparently, WWE is looking at some venues. Let me see if I can pull this up here.
We out to Vegas?
Ugwa's running Vegas August 8th. We out, Brandon?
I mean, my people got to talk to your people. I already told you. Really, the only days I have free is Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh,
so.
I see. I'm a part of the Aluma Ugwa, right? The Aluma Ugwa. I think that's what we call ourselves. Nice little crew. All right, so here we go. So SummerSlam to take place on a Saturday for the first time ever in an NFL stadium. They're looking at Miami, Inglewood, Houston, Texas, Las Vegas. They're looking at MetLife again, or Nashville, Tennessee. So, I mean, I'd say go to Vegas. I'd say go to Vegas for SummerSlam.
I mean, Vegas kind of makes the most sense because it's a new stadium. they're not going to run WrestleMania there for at least 3 years, so they can go there for SummerSlam and then come back in a couple years. Inglewood doesn't make sense because they're going to go there in 2 years. I mean, Nashville kind of makes sense. They probably will have the least amount of restrictions, if any, by that point. So, but then the weather might be an issue. I don't know. So, and then MetLife, I mean, as a California person, I'm always like, oh, New York just gets everything. And I saw a rumor that maybe they were going to come back to MSG. And I mean, MSG was rocking last night for the playoff game against the Hawks. And so it just kind of makes me miss the atmosphere of MSG. And I know they want to go make their money in a stadium if they can sell it, but going back to MSG for a big WWE show is always something I wish they could do a little bit more of, but it's so expensive. So I kind of understand why.
Yeah, I mean, there were talks of Mania like last year being postponed to like June when we thought this was going to be over, and having WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden and whatnot, but that wasn't the case. I don't know. I love MSG. I mean, it's the mecca of entertainment in sports in general. You know what I mean? It's the world's most famous arena. So if they could get something there, that'd be awesome. Mr. Mayhem, Steve Maclin is back. The former Steve Cutler, who's a part of the Forgotten Sons in WWE, he has reemerged and for the company I work for at Global Syndicate Wrestling Catalyst. Of course, his girlfriend, fiance, the Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo. She was wrestling in the Women's World Cup that night. Maclin showed up with Mucho Chris Mojo and Big Ben Bishop, and he looks like he's going after Alexander Hammerstone for the GSW heavyweight title. Do you know anything about Maclin? Did you watch the indie run?
I have not seen anything. I am still waiting for my No Way Jose run. That's all I'm waiting for.
Okay. Honestly, if he shows up in GSW, I'm gonna have to quit. I'm gonna quit the company.
And I just slide right in. The Jimmy Smith.
Oh,
you're Adnan Virk.
You think you're just gonna take my spot? You think you're just gonna take my spot?
It's not taking your spot. It's just replacing you. Big difference.
So you're coming for my spot, Brandon?
I'm not coming for your spot. It's just if the spot is open, we can have some business negotiations because, I'm a businessman.
Yes, sir. All right. This day in wrestling, Monday Nitro 1996, 25 years ago today. Hey, yo, Chico. Scott Hall makes his WCW re-debut. Remember, he was the Diamond Stud a couple years before that. And, which kicks off, Nash coming over, then Hogan's the third man, the NWO, one of the hottest times in wrestling. I think you've heard about this, right?
Is it the New World Organization?
The Order, that's the thing.
Oh.
So the New World Order, yes. I think they had a Wolfpack edition as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Why would like the North Carolina Wolfpack? Like, do they like football?
It was black and red. The theme song was pretty dope. The theme, something put you in a body bag. I'm like, oh, okay. So they body people. All right, I can mess with it.
So they murdered people? Like, were they natural born killers?
They beat them so bad in the ring that they got to leave out in a body bag.
But you wouldn't say they're natural born killers.
No. They're not natural born killers. Okay. They're not. They're none of that. None of that. Okay. All right, Raw on this day in 2002. It is the famous ladder match between Eddie Guerrero and Rob Van Dam for the Intercontinental Championship. Brandon, have you got a chance to see the Icons doc about RVD? The whole effing show?
Well, of course, because I just watch everything. It was really good. I mean, we talked about the Beth Phoenix one, and now Rob Van Dam. We thought maybe he might have been on the outs, but no, he's with the company. He's in the Hall of Fame now, and they did the doc on him. Great show. Love to see it.
You were at that one show at that place that should not be named when RVD was there in Newark a few years back.
And I have like one of my most awkward pictures.
Hey man, RV, did you talk to him a little bit?
Maybe.
A
little bit.
It was crazy because he's loaded all the time, but he never smells like it.
You got the edibles, bro.
He's smoking joints, dude. It was funny, man. They were trying to get him some markers to sign my picture, and he was like, "You see that girl over there? She looks like Taylor Swift. Shake it off." That's like when that song was super popular. Yeah, it was like this skinny white girl in this cheetah dress, and I'm like, oh, okay. Can I just have my picture, dude? We need to get RVD on the show, bro. We need to get Brandon. We never do interviews together. You know, we need to interview RVD together one time.
Usually, I'm the cameraman. I'm the tech guy.
Yeah, I saw Starboy Charlie at Ugwa. He said thank you. You know, TikTok famous because of you.
Taking the TikTok stardom.
Yes, absolutely. His theme song should be Starboy Charlie. I'm just saying. I mean, Starboy by The Weeknd. I'm just saying. It just makes sense, right?
But if he wants his own theme song, I know someone called The Weekday. Sing a great song for you.
Possibly. We went from RVD to Starboy Charlie to The Weeknd, Weekday. We're getting all the topics in on this recording. To finish it up, Eric Bischoff is 66 years old today. Happy birthday to the Hall of Famer. And happy birthday to one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Natalya Natty Neidhart. You love to see it. The big 3-9.
Happy birthday, Natty. You know, me and her, we were on television together. No big deal.
Absolutely. I love Natty, you know. I want to interview Natty. She seems like a great interview.
She definitely was not overly nice and playing up to the cameras when I met her.
No, Natty's
definitely not being super duper fake.
Natty's just nice. All right, Mr. X is back. How well do you think Jimmy Smith will do as the head announcer on Raw? We talked about that. He does have history with NXT doing analysis, plus his time commentating for UFC and Bellator. I feel should help as a smooth transition. Absolutely. Can we expect more people to lose their jobs at WWE over the next few weeks after this latest string of releases? Yeah, a lot of media talent has been let go. WWE, they've just been letting people go left and right, man. And last
trimming the fat, and it's because they have too many redundant positions. But it's like they're doing just fine beforehand. But you know, whatever.
We'll see. He also says, I heard you talking about Danhausen last week. If you're interested, you can check out, if you haven't already, his YouTube channel, Love That Danhausen, where you can join him on his quest for human monies. Oh, my God. Free swag and unboxing gifts from his fans. In one of his latest videos, he unboxes the Batman the Animated Series figures. Plus, you can pick up the shirt I designed for him at the Ring of Honor website.
Yes, buy all of Mr. X's merch, wrestling or otherwise.
Buy the merch, bro. Buy the merch. I love Mr. X. And a shout out to the homie Peter Stokes. He goes by the Gift of Dab on Instagram. He has a little YouTube series out. Let me see what this is actually called, so I can plug the homie. I got to put people on, Brandon. You know that's what we're here to do. Paper Plane Pete. That's the name of it. Paper Plane Pete. That's his YouTube channel. He interviewed the Suburban Commandos, aka the Stoner Brothers from Stoner U. Go check that stuff out, man. You know, he's doing some work with Juicy Finau and Midas Creed and all those guys. So a lot of great stuff is being in the works for people in the Bay Area. You love to see it. Brandon, Monday Night Raw, it happened. Tell us.
Well, it did happen, and we got a Kofi going up against Drew, and whoever wins faces off against Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell. Shout out to Bobby Lashley once again having the lovely ladies on his arm. Very body positive ladies. Love to see it. And Kofi takes on Drew in a no contest. After we get a double DQ, we get Lashley interfering because who didn't see that coming? And then they go and complain to Mr. Pierce, and Mr. Pierce tells them that next week they're going to have the match again. And then this time, whoever wins is going to face off against Lashley at Hell in a Cell. So they wasted like 25 minutes, 30 minutes of our time for nothing to happen.
It was a pretty good match.
Yeah, but you know, just like everything else is.
So I mean,
good work, and then a crappy finish.
We assume it's going to be Drew, but it needs to be Kofi. Kofi doesn't have to win the title, but we need something different. We need something. They
didn't explicitly say that this match is going to be in Hell in a Cell, so technically this match doesn't need it, especially if it's with Kofi. It would make sense. Now I would wish Kofi didn't just get absolutely squashed at WrestleMania. If they had this plan ahead of time, which they probably did not. They're like, oh yeah, Kofi won the championship a couple years ago. We should probably like do something with him because we don't have any other like main event baby faces to face Lashley. Screw it. We don't need to build him up. People like him anyways.
They do. I love Kofi Kingston. My mother loves Kofi Kingston. Mom, you still like Kofi? Yeah, she's nodding her head. Yes, yeah. So he's still over. But she's screaming Roman. We're not talking about Roman today, mother. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else happened?
Maybe the highlight of the show, which kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest, would be Riddle taking on Xavier Woods. They went for, I don't even know how long. It maybe felt like 15 minutes, but it was good 15 minutes. I mean, God bless Xavier Woods. He fell on his head after he took a suplex, but he powered through. Hopefully we don't get a Ricky Starks situation, but Riddle breaks out an RKO, has a mean mug Randy face, does the whole slithering thing, taking his gimmick. Randy didn't like it on Twitter, which I kind of got a big pop for. And then Riddle snaps out of it, and then he's fun-loving bro again. So really enjoyed this match, and they're definitely kind of leading into Riddle turning into Randy. So this definitely looks like they're going to be more of a heelish team going forward.
He broke out the 3 most dangerous letters in all of WWE, in all sports entertainment, and he won. I love to see it. Speaking
BRO?
of... No, RKO. Speaking of Randy Orton, Jim Ross, AEW commentator, said that he thinks Randy Orton is the best wrestler in the world currently. Chris Jericho said that Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world. But they're both wrong. Brandon, who's the best wrestler in the world?
Well, the top champion in the top company, it's got to be Bobby Lashley.
There you go. I mean, Randy. Randy, is he better than Kenny? Of course, Randy's better than Kenny. I mean, look, JBL's been saying it on commentary for years, and I've been saying it for a long time on the show too. If you were going to build a sports entertainer, if you were going to build a professional wrestler from the ground up, you would look just like Randy Orton. 6'4", 6'5", a nice 240. Come on, man. Athletic, charismatic, sadistic, could tell a great story, could cut at one hell of a promo, has a great finisher that everybody loves. Come on, man.
I was trying to go through my head and legitimately pick who I think is the best wrestler in the world. And I think it's the most open it's been in a long time, because Okada's hurt. He's not doing the things he's doing. Ospreay's on the shelf. I mean, Kenny isn't exactly Kenny right now. He'll have a good match, but he's not doing the best work of his career. I mean, WWE, there's good wrestlers in WWE, but for the most part, they've got into that rhythm and that style to where we can't really see them achieve that next level. So, I mean, I think you can make a legitimate case for different people. I mean, you could make the case for Randy Orton. I probably would say no, but I think the actual debate is wide open on who the best wrestler in the world is, to be honest.
Yes, sir. What's next?
Which is Phillips' way of telling me to shut up and move on. Flair. Charlotte Flair takes on Asuka. And what happens after Asuka beats Charlotte the week before? Well, then Charlotte has to get her win back via a roll-up Shayna Baszler-esque finish. And now Charlotte gets the win. And yeah, I mean, Rhea Ripley hanging out. I mean, I guess we'll talk about Rhea Ripley in a little bit, but I mean, really good match from these two. I still think Riddle and Woods is a better match, but this is something that they've gone to the well, I think, one too many times. It was special back at WrestleMania 34. It's not exactly that anymore. And now they just throw it on Raw 2 weeks in a row, little build, and it does not have the gravitas it used to have, or I think it, had at all.
That's true. And people say 50-50 booking. That's not what this was. 50-50 booking isn't a thing. It's not. Do you know what happened? Asuka got one over on Charlotte. Charlotte got a leg up on her this week. That's all it was.
But in the last 2 weeks, if we're just going to go the last 2 weeks, what is each woman's winning percentage? Be 500.
88% chance of winning, right? I mean, Brett,
does that take it into account the advantage that Charlotte doesn't have a chance in hell at beating Rhea Ripley? So then you take her 33rd and then add it to Rhea's, and then you minus everything and carry the two and take the abacus, tilt it upside down, and yeah.
Don't forget the greater than sign. You always have to have that in there. I mean, Brandon, you're a sports guy. I mean, you ever played a one-on-one game of basketball? You beat a guy, and then you run it back, and then he beats you. You know what I mean? That's
never lost.
Oh, never lost. There are only two people that are greater than Michael Jordan, and I'm both of them. Is that what you were going for?
The only thing Michael Whitlock has the right to talk about is snacks.
Okay, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? I've had wrestling matches where I've beaten people, like, or not even matches, but like little encounters, like little scrimmages on the mat. I beat them. They got me. Okay, cool. You know, that's all it was.
Never happened to me. Either I beat everybody or I always lose. There was this one guy who I wrestled like, I don't know, maybe 5 times in middle school. Beat him every single time. And then we went to his gym and we wrestled him, beat him, and then he asked for a rematch because it didn't even really matter. I was a little under the weather, a little flu game action. I was like, no, I'm good. I've proven myself against you. I don't need to do it again. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Brandon, man, I'm telling you, bro.
And then I retired.
If you had wrestled in high school, we might have crossed paths, bro.
I'm too old.
I'm talking like I was.
What were you doing in 2012?
Ooh, actually, you know what? I was living in Florida at the time. We wouldn't have crossed paths.
Dang,
Like that fall, the fall of 2012, I started wrestling at Mount Eden. Yeah, dang. I should have went as a freshman, bro. Maybe something could have happened. You never know.
Anyways, we're just gonna skip on into the main event. Natalya and Tamina defeat Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax to retain their women's tag team titles. They didn't really build this match at all. We got some backstage stuff with Shayna, Nia, and Reggie. Reggie is still seeing stars, and he's very, I don't even know what the word is for having a phobia of fire, but he has it. And Reggie gets involved, but then Shayna yells at him to go to the back, and then fires shoot out of the stage. No Alexa Bliss to be seen. I would assume that has to do with the passing of Larry Steve. But then Shayna gets all up in Reggie's face after she loses because, love a distraction, roll-up finish in the main event of Raw. And she challenges Reggie that no circuits delay BS. She's just going to choke him out. And we're going to get a intergender Shayna Baszler Reggie match next week.
Look, Reggie has pyrophobia. That's what he has.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Look it up on WebMD.
No, healthline.com.
Oh, okay. Seems legit.
Under the anxiety tab. Anxiety? How do you say it?
I don't know. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, so
yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
It is what it is. Shayna's probably just going to choke him out, and that's going to be the end of it.
After he does some flippy doos and does his best Simone Biles impersonation. Sticking in the women's division, we got Nikki Cross taking on Rhea Ripley in what I thought was the dumbest thing on Raw, and that is saying a lot. Charlotte and Rhea are yelling at each other back and forth, and Charlotte says that she can beat Nikki in 2 minutes, and then Rhea says, I can beat Nikki in 2 minutes. And so then what happens? Rhea, who understands the entire point of this match is for her to beat the clock in 2 minutes, she gets carried away and just stomps a mud hole in Nikki in the corner. The time expires. She loses. And then Nikki, who was getting her thing beat in for like a minute and 50 of this match, starts celebrating like she won the damn Stanley Cup.
Like she won the damn world title. I can't defend this one. Usually I try, but I can't defend this one.
The only positive thing is it only lasted 2 minutes.
Yeah. Add another 10 on it next week, and oh boy, what a barn burner.
And they still have that god-awful new music for Nikki Cross because apparently she's not crazy anymore. She's just Scottish. And smiley.
Yeah. The smiley Scott. Nikki Cross. Yeah.
So now her and Killian Dane, the only last members of Sanity.
Yeah. Isn't she married to Killian Dane? Yeah, right. What's going on with Killian Dane? I like him.
Him and Drake Maverick are running the tag team division.
Really, man? When are they going to put the titles on Hit Row?
I don't know. I guess, I was going to possibly bring up that we could talk NXT on the show, but been keeping up.
Hit Row, man. I keep up with that. Brianna Brady, she put up a little cipher session on her Instagram page. I plugged it. She liked it. I said Hit Row forever. She said thank you. Little encounter right there. Working on getting her on the show.
So don't be shocked if you see Philip on next week's episode of NXT. Is what you're telling me.
Hey, you know, I can drop a bar or 2 or 3 or 4, maybe more. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
We got more Eva Marie vignette promo. We get kind of two of these a week, but we get a new one once a week. And continuing on, I think for people who were skeptical and maybe thinking she was going to be a face, I think this is kind of cemented that she is going to be an arrogant, full of herself influencer heel.
Apparently, she's not even going to be wrestling.
Isn't that a good thing?
Whoa. It's a good thing if Will Ospreay never wrestles again, sure. Don't talk about Eva that way. You know, I was an advocate. I thought she should have won the world title back when she was there the first round. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, she could pop in for like a Royal Rumble spot. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess, but if we're gonna live the evolution, what does that even mean? Is she just gonna be like the new Sonya Deville, and she's like the HBIC?
Thought that was Mia Yim.
Well, I don't even know where Mia Yim is.
Where the hell is Keith Lee?
I don't know where Keith Lee is either.
I miss Keith Lee, bro.
I see him tweeting, but
yeah, he putting stuff on Instagram. You know, he's all up in the stories of Mia Yim, but he's not on Raw. Not even on main event.
Mia Yim gets COVID at the beginning of the year, and then they never see him again.
That's true. You know what we did see again? Shelton Benjamin versus Cedric Alexander.
Mm-hmm. More 50-50 booking. You absolutely just love to see it.
It's not 50-50 booking. Shelton got one up on him last week. Cedric got one up on him this week. That's all it is.
Okay. Because we just live in the moment. We don't think about the past. Because if Vince doesn't remember, nobody else does.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Exactly. Pepperidge Farms remembers.
This is usually the part of the show where we talk about AEW, but it didn't come on last night. It comes on tomorrow night. Cindy will be joining me for a recap of that because I know Brandon has to record Curveballs and Chair Shots, and he likes that show more than he likes this one.
Well, breaking news, we're actually not going to record it with Curveballs and Chair Shots tomorrow. We're going to record it on Saturday.
Is Brandon coming on? Is he going to be on the recap?
No, because I'm going to go to the A's game tomorrow, my first actual non-pandemic thing I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be watching Shohei Ohtani just hopefully, not carve up the A's too bad, but he does good enough to where he can stay there for a little bit because I'm trying to see the greatest baseball talent we've seen since George Herman Ruth.
Not Barry Bonds.
Did Barry Bonds have a 2.3 ERA?
I don't know. Not A-Rod? He's not. I thought A-Rod.
Did A-Rod have a 2.3 ERA?
Look, dude, I only know because I keep hearing about him. During those eras of time when they were hot. So I just made the assumption that they were those dudes back in that time. Were they not those dudes?
They were those dudes, but those dudes didn't have a 2.3 ERA.
You heard it here first. That's the name of the episode. That is the name of the episode right there.
Philip, let me just sit you down. I'm going to have the talk with you. So a 2.3 ERA, an ERA means an earned run average. So what that means is what's the average number of earned runs the other team would score on a pitcher. Henceforth, Shohei Ohtani also pitches and he hits. So Barry Bonds and A-Rod didn't do those things. George Herman Ruth did those things back in the early 20th century. So that's why we haven't seen something like that since the Babe. The more you know.
The ERA, what is it again? What's the number?
2.3.
I got a 2.3 PTA. Yeah.
What is a PTA?
I cannot say it during this recording. I'll tell you off air. Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got? I'll let you know because Double or Nothing is this weekend. Title is on the line. Our predictions will be on that show. Cindy and myself. I'll get Brandon's off the record. Officially on the record, but not on air.
It's off the record, but all my on the record picks are just everything that happened at Double or Nothing.
Absolutely. So, do you have one?
Oh, my superstar spotlight. Well, let's see. I mean, I guess we'll go on the NXT route since that was kind of the only other show of note that we didn't talk about. If I'm going to give it to somebody on NXT, I will give it to Karrion Kross. Why not? I mean, the match with Finn Balor honestly wasn't that great, but he won the title and he's still champion, so good for him.
Yes, it is. Brandon, tell us about our promo match picks of the week.
Well, because Philip can't think of anything, I've been tasked with doing the promo match pick once again, and we're going to go down the AEW route. Brit Baker. We're going to go back in time, January 29th, 2020. This was back when we still had crowds, when COVID was a thing, but we didn't take it seriously. Brit Baker comes out onto the stage with old Tony Schiavone, and she just absolutely runs down Jim Ross, saying that he can't get people's names right, and only talks about her because she's a dentist, yada, yada, yada. This was kind of the impetus, not the first time she did this, but this was kind of the infancy of the Brit Baker character we see today. And the one that I assume almost everyone is going to think is going to win the women's title on Sunday.
Because she will win the women's title on Sunday. That is my pick. She is my pick.
And on the record, I also think she will win the women's title.
I see. What's our match pick, man?
Well, our match pick, we're going to go to Double or Nothing 2019, which just happened a couple days ago. And I'm not going to pick one of the big matches. I'm going to go with the opening match, which holds near and dear to my heart. We have SCU taking on Shima, T-Hawk, and El Litterman. So we had three of the Asian wrestlers from China, I believe. I forget exactly where they are from, but take on SCU. I mean, it was a fun opener. The crowd didn't really know too much about the Asian wrestlers, even though Shima is one of the best wrestlers in the last 20 years. But for me personally, the guy who was sitting, I think, in front of me might have had a little bit too much to drink, and the entire time, I forget which one it is. Maybe I think it was T-Hawk or the other guy, but it wasn't Shima. He was just yelling Speedo Guy throughout the entirety of the match. So Speedo Guy will always have a warm place in my heart at Double or Nothing.
That's fun. Man, Double or Nothing. What a great time that was, bro. It's crazy. We would have went back the next year. Last year, we would have been there.
I would have kept holding on to those tickets until it finally came back, but then I just had to get my refund.
Yeah. It's a damn shame.
When's AEW coming to California? This is some BS.
I'll talk to Cody, man. I'll find out what's going on. Follow us on Twitter at Bulletcast, Instagram, The Bulletcast, YouTube channel, The Bulletcast. Email is bulletcast2 is the number 2, sweet SWET at gmail.com. Every Friday night from 11 p.m. to midnight, 104.7 FM KAPU in Watsonville. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon. We're all over the damn place. Friday, Cindy and I recap of AEW Dynamite. Sunday, Double or Nothing recap. Friday morning, West Coast Design interview goes up. And I'm looking to drop another interview within the next couple weeks. I will be at Agua Megalomania on 619 June 19th. So if you're there, come up, say hi. I won't bite. I'll try to pull Brandon out for the West Coast show on July 9th. I'll try to pull him out of his cave. I'm trying. Yeah. Yeah. Me no go. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, stay quarantined. Diamonds are forever. So is the Microphone Messiah. We love you guys.
No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.